are back. Welcome everybody to NFC North West Coast Edition. I'm ready for this one.
Everything that's good dies.
Oh boy, we got a good amount to cover today because it was a lot of turning events occurred this week in the NFC North yet again, and it's just going to continue to happen, to be honest, until literally the Week 18 showdown, where we're going to have two divisional matchups to end the season. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. We'll let JC simmer a little bit over there and get his thoughts together. We'll start with the Bears. Well, actually, I'm so sorry. We've been starting with the NFC North standings. So
fuck my life.
Here we go again, folks. The Bears back on top in the NFC North, 10-4. Woo. Did you enjoy first place for 7 days?
You might enjoy it for 7 days yourself too.
Yeah, but we've had it longer.
Fair.
Packers still in second, still right there, 9-4-1. Lions, they're not out of it yet, 8-6, and then the Vikings, their playoff hopes have died, but 6-8. So,
as you could tell, this never happens, but I got the Rodgers jersey out for today. I rarely use this because this has had beer and wings and shit dropped all over it. Are
you trying to put like ayahuasca guru out,
I need
what?
to pray to the ayahuasca gods so Aaron Rodgers could beat the Lions next week. That is the route that I'm taking now. I'm gonna turn all the lights off. Darkness retreat. I'm praying to the Rodgers right now.
Wow. Alrighty, well, let's start with your first place team, the Chicago Bears, playing at home this week against the Cleveland Browns, and they handled business, winning that game 31-3. Pretty proud of the Bears this game. It was a good overall game. Of course, there's been the storyline that, our games are close. We don't know how to control games.
What's going on here? You're supposed to come back in the fourth quarter, not win all fourth quarters. What's going on?
I don't know. It was nice to, and I remember saying this like halfway through the game. Actually, probably like towards the second quarter, being up 14-0, and I was like, it's nice to just kind of like enjoy where your team is at halftime, because most of our games were like, oh my gosh, can they get anything going? What's happening? Like, so it's definitely a different feeling storyline this week. But one of the biggest storylines was that weather. That was Chicago Bear football weather. One of the coldest games at Soldier Field, got up to -6 degrees with wind chill, and you could see it. You could, yeah, it was 8 degrees at kickoff. So I don't know.
I'm born and
raised in LA. I give them fans props, bro. I don't know if I could hang. I really don't.
Don't get me wrong. The dream is to go to a frozen tundra game for myself.
Yeah.
But imagine having to do that every single week.
Yeah, I would probably have to do it in increments. Like go into the stadium,
go inside, out, get a beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Go warm up a bit.
Take the long way to get the beer because, the lines are so long. But no, I agree. I would definitely like to experience it, but I'm just being realistic. I don't think, it is freezing here when I think it's like 40 degrees. I'm like, it is so freaking cold out here, and I can't imagine being in 8-degree weather, let alone -6 with wind chill. So that's, I don't know. I got a couple fun facts today, just because, I hate to make it all about the Bears, but there's just some interesting things that I have interesting facts. So we can cue up our first one, because this is similar to
you guys have a lot to celebrate.
All right, so the 8 degrees at kickoff is the fourth coldest since the Bears moved into Soldier Field in 1971. It was also 8 degrees on December 9th, 2013 versus the Cowboys. The only colder games have been games against the Packers, 2 degrees in December 22nd, 2008, and it was 3 degrees on December 18th, 1983, and then 4 degrees January 10th.
I'm freezing my ass off just thinking about that.
Yeah, 1988. So
I walk my dog at night and it's like 40 and I'm kind of cold.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah. So
this is why they make fun of
exactly
us Californians.
I agree. And I mean, I don't blame them, but I mean, it is what it is, Probably for people who grow up in Arizona, they can't. Somebody who, is born and raised in the North Midwest is probably like comes to Arizona and wants to die from the heat,
That's fair. That's fair.
So,
to be fair, I go to Arizona and I want to die from the heat. So.
And I can't handle humidity. Like the humidity in Chicago is brutal, and I can't imagine Florida. So wild. But anyway, swamps. Yeah. So interesting stuff. That was good Chicago weather, and this is what makes me sad about like moving to Arlington Heights, because we're gonna lose that feel, and I get it from the fans' perspective, but at the same time it's tough.
I mean, you're moving from one of the most iconic cities in the world, and I get it. You're still in
you're in
city.
The county,
but you're like in the heart of the city.
Literally.
I mean, we've had this
on Lake Michigan. Come on now. But yeah, so I want to talk about Caleb in this game because a little risky business. I don't know if you guys saw that throw to DJ Moore, but oh my gosh, talk about a heart attack.
So we're talking about either the best throw of all time or the dumbest throw of all time, and it worked.
That's what I'm saying is like, and he said, because they asked him, is that like an ill-advised throw? And he was like, I can make any throw I want. And I believe that. I literally believe that. But still, that's a very scary throw, and I wouldn't want him to do that again.
I get that. Those are the throws he did in college, though.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. And, it was a good play by DJ Moore. I'm really happy for DJ in this game. Kind of been taking a back seat the past several weeks. But this is, I really think this is what Ben Johnson wants to implore is, it's team football. Your number can be called upon any week, and you keep doing your job, and you'll get the touches, you'll get the touchdowns.
Yeah.
So really happy for DJ in this game, because I think he's been doing a great job, and he's kind of been out of the limelight for being that star receiver for so many years with the Panthers, and then moving over.
I think he also knows that he's getting to that point where he could be a mentor. He's still a star. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Physically, the guy's still a stud. But I think he also understands that Odunze is the future of this team. But he just got his contract. So there's a world where he's mentoring this kid, and he just takes a slight step back.
Yeah, and you can even tell after the game when he was presented with the game ball where, he just said, like, this is a lot of fun, because he hasn't been a part of any winning football team. So for him, it's like kind of what Justin Jefferson said, like, if we're winning football games, I don't care if I don't have any catches. I don't care if I don't touch the ball. And so
his fantasy owners probably care.
Well, yeah, of course. But, I can appreciate that about DJ.
Agreed.
But going back to Caleb, not too shabby. 17 of 28, 242 yards and 2 touchdowns. A lot has been talked about with his accuracy and his percentage completion percentage.
Sure.
And like, yes, of course you want to see progress, but at the same time, if we're winning games, I don't know how people could be so gung-ho on it. I understand that the offense relies on the quarterback so heavily, but this is a kid in his second year and a first-year offense, and
I mean, not even the offense part. It's still his second year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if it's a new coaching regime. He's just the second year starting.
Yeah, and to be fair, I honestly think that Ben Johnson's offense is very complex.
Oh, yeah.
And, when we get to the Vikings, and, Dylan even said it himself, is you could tell that Kevin O'Connell is really simplifying the offense for J.J. McCarthy, and I don't feel that way.
The coloring book that we talked about, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't feel that way with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. So,
but the thing with Caleb is that he's he's used to that complex playbook because he had a complex playbook in USC.
Hmm.
And I feel like having the whole offseason, not any injuries like nagging him or anything during the offseason, was able to build this rapport with his coach,
Hmm.
with Ben Johnson. JJ was already injured in the preseason.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of practice, a lot of schemes, a lot of preseason games that he got to miss.
Yeah.
So we did talk about that in the preseason too, and it ended up kind of coming to fruition.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I got this is a nice, interesting fun fact as well. Speaking on Caleb Williams, cue me.
I can't remember the color codes on this.
That's funny. You should just keep that in there.
I will.
Alrighty, so Caleb Williams' 12 career interceptions is the fewest by a quarterback in their first 1,000 career pass attempts in NFL history. Williams reached the 1,000 plateau Sunday on his 7th pass. So
Not bad.
that's pretty impressive in NFL history. Your first 1,000 attempts have the lowest interception. So even in his scary, crazy throws, and I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be like, well, when you're inaccurate, of course, because the ball's not going to the defense. But at the same time, if you're that inaccurate, you'll probably get more interceptions. So I don't know. It's a double-edged sword, but I thought that was pretty cool. Pretty neat.
I mean, we've always known that he takes care of the ball,
Yeah.
so that's not a surprise to me.
Yeah.
If
It was a surprise to me in the sense of like the fewest in NFL
in
history.
comparison to other
Yeah.
quarterbacks, I get that part.
For sure.
But it was a surprise that he's able to do that and not turn the ball over so much.
Yeah. And again, especially with how he slings the ball at some
Oh, yeah.
point, especially last year. But yeah, the last two things that I'll talk about in the Bears, because really in this episode, it's sort of, we're 15 weeks in now, and it's really going to come down to these past couple weeks. So I don't want to like keep talking about the same things over and over and over again. But again, very impressive on the ground game with the Bears. I think they've been doing a great job the past couple, several weeks actually. And
Monongai and Swift.
Yeah, so this was Swift's game.
Yeah.
18 rushes, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns. Monongai really didn't get it going. 11 rushes, 33 yards. But that's okay. That's why. And Ben Johnson has said it. He'll go with the hot hand.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. Caleb had a couple rushes for 13 yards, but 142 total yards rushing on the ground because Colson Loveland had 1 rush for -2 yards. So there's your total net yards. But pretty impressive. I like that a lot, especially as we get into this colder weather. You're going to need to run the ball. And then, of course, the defense, yet again, very opportunistic. 3 interceptions. It's crazy to me to say because of how much I talked about with Nashawn Wright in the beginning of the season, but I actually think this guy deserves to go to the Pro Bowl because he's like leading the league in interceptions.
Every time he wakes up, he's about to play. He's like, Jackie talked a lot of shit.
Yeah,
we need to show her up.
Yeah, so I gotta admit, when I was wrong, I still think he's got a lot of growth to do, but he's improvement every week. And again, he's coming away. He's taking the ball away, and you can't get mad at that.
So I looked at the games, a bunch of the games for the Bears, and I actually wanted to ask you: do you think that they're opportunistic because they're taking risk? Like the honesty is that you guys do occasionally get burnt deep because some of your safeties and your cornerbacks are jumping routes.
Yeah, I think so. I think you could definitely tell there's been a good amount of times where instead of playing the tackle or trying to break up the pass, you can see that they're trying to make a play on the ball. But I think that it's not like overemphasized in the sense where they're constantly blowing assignments.
Fair.
There's definitely been blown assignments, don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of that is chemistry. And we've had it's just been such like a rotating door at the defensive, like with the defensive backs because of injuries and the linebacking position for that matter. So, but I mean, you can't, again, winning the turnover battle, and that's been our recipe for success. So anytime that we have like one takeaway or less, I think we're like a losing record. And every time we have more than one takeaway, we win. So
Yeah.
that's definitely been our recipe. And then the other thing, though, from an overall defensive standpoint, they only allowed 1 first down in the first half, 0 points allowed in the first half as well. So,
Against, I
and
mean, to be fair, it did look like Shador struggled a lot against your defense, and he has to learn the, the safeties and the corners jumping assignments. Other more experienced quarterbacks now, okay, they might do that, or they're trying to look at where I'm going to throw the ball, or they might try to kind of bait me into this. I don't think he's learned any of that yet.
yeah. I mean, I will say, obviously not his best game. And again, you're playing against a very opportunistic football, defense, I should say. And we did start getting, something going on the pass rush as well. So that was good to see.
Yeah.
But, to talk about Shador really quickly, I didn't think he looked that bad.
No, but in
I think he
comparison to
made
the last few weeks, he did look a little more shaky.
And I think he had some really impressive throws
Yeah.
in that game. So I honestly think that if he keeps developing, he can be a very capable quarterback in
I
this
think
league.
that they need to fire that coach.
Yeah.
Because a few things. And we talked about him in the beginning of the season, right when he got drafted really late. And one thing that came to mind is that why did we ever think that Gabriel was the answer?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they got too much in their head.
Yeah. And then did you see the game last week where they tie, but instead of they had a chance to tie with a 2-point conversion, but they pulled Shador Sanders out to do some trick play. And I'm like, dude, the coach is dumb. Like, you take your best player out of the field and then you lose the game. You need to get fired. Anyways, I digress.
Yeah. But yeah, so I got my last fun fact because, I mean, this is just good, well, half good company. But give me last one, third time's a charm. Wah, 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 wah.
Yes.
Alrighty, so Ben Johnson joins Papa Bear, George Hallis, and Matt Nagy in winning at least 10 of their first 14 games with the team for the Chicago Bears. So that's good company for Ben Johnson when you're with Papa Bear. Matt Nagy, I don't know, he was a little fluke. But
he had a good year.
Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah, exactly. And then it just went downhill from there. Hopefully we don't see that again with Ben Johnson. I'll cry. I don't think so, though. But great company. I mean, for first year head coach, 10 wins his first season to join, again, George Hallis and Matt Nagy. And, that just shows you, like, the Bears have been around since 1920. So the fact that there's only 3 head coaches in their entire franchise history that have gotten 10 or more wins in their first season, that's rare company.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's probably a diss, but,
it's
a compliment to Ben Johnson.
Yes. Going back to your game real quick, just to add, so you won against the Browns, right?
Yep.
They were able to get some rhythm at some point, but they punted a lot, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. You're not on TikTok, but punt.
Oh, punt.
And we're the Cleveland Browns. There's a famous TikToker who does a bunch of stuff with the Cleveland Browns, and he pretends to be them. And that, anyways.
Oh, okay.
I
will say though, I am happy that the Bears did not give Myles Garrett the all-time sack record. So got to give props to the O-line for that as well, and Caleb for his elusive. Actually, Myles Garrett compared Caleb Williams to Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson in his elusiveness. So that was a very nice compliment from an elite player in the league.
That's high praise.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so again, super happy about this game, handled business, and now we're going, round 2 with the Packers next week, which we'll get to that towards the end of the episode, but it's just funny because it's like deja vu all over again.
So quick.
Here we go.
The schedule makers, man.
And we knew that was a possibility. We absolutely knew it. All right, well, let's move on to our next game. The Green Bay Packers heading to Mile High, Denver, playing the Broncos at home, losing 34-26. And I'm sure
I'm so hungover.
there's more devastation from not just the loss, but of course the biggest story being Micah Parsons.
I'm I was so hungover for that game.
Yeah,
And
just
then
so everyone knows, it was my birthday on Saturday, so we went out, we had a great time. We're also getting old, and I was on my deathbed Sunday,
same.
so hungover, and I literally got up, watched the Bears game, and then tried to just survive the rest of the day. So I really wasn't in
I
the rest of the
I
football
watched the
games.
Packers game and I tried to stay as still as possible because my head was destroyed.
Yeah.
And then the Micah Parsons situation happened, and of course, I had a visceral reaction, which it wasn't just emotional. My body was ringing at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's a tough blow, of course,
Yeah,
you know.
that one. Here's the thing.
Did you know right when it
Oh
happened
yeah,
that it was gonna be bad?
immediately,
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
The second they showed,
Anytime it's
yeah,
non-contact,
and
not
then
a
he
good
was saying,
thing.
I'm out," and you could tell there's a difference between like I'm like out of this game. No,
Yeah.
his emotion showed I'm done. Like this is it for me.
Yeah.
And oh, because here's the thing, I do love all of the Packers. I love all the players, but there's two players that we just can't afford to lose, and we lost one of them.
Yeah.
And if you look at you didn't get a chance to watch, you were kind of
No, I was
yeah.
dead. I was on my
We
deathbed.
controlled this whole game. Better way to put it, we controlled the game in the first half. We were dominating. We Jordan Love was able to pass the ball on the Broncos defense with ease. And then he had 240 yards in the first half against them. He had a touchdown, no picks yet. And then all the dominoes started to fall.
Yeah, it definitely I mean, I watched the highlights and, I definitely went through the majority of the important moments in the game, and, I mean, I did wanna ask you because it did feel like, you know, you've been saying that Matt LaFleur needs to be more aggressive, and you could tell that he called that dagger shot, deep shot to Christian Watson, and Surtain just made a
Yeah, that
fucking
one,
great ass play on
I'm
it.
going to
Like, I
say
mean,
that that was a good throw. There was nothing wrong with that throw. That was just a better play by Sertan.
yeah.
Sometimes you're just going to, I mean, when I say that I don't think that they're a top 3 defense, I meant like they could still get burned,
Mhm.
but you can't burn Sertan. You don't target that guy. That guy's the best corner in the league for a reason. But the first half, we were able to move our offense easily. That was the first domino hit. The reason that we were allowed, better way to
Yeah,
put
it,
it,
it was a momentum
yeah.
shift, that particular play,
Well, it
for
wasn't
sure.
even the interception. It was who went out. That was the first domino piece. That's when Christian Watson went out.
Mhm.
And just look at the season when Christian Watson wasn't there. We relied on Tucker Kraft, but there was a 3 or 4 week span where Tucker Kraft wasn't there and Christian Watson wasn't there.
Mhm.
And that's when Jordan Love didn't look so good because you can't expand the field, and our other wide receivers can't catch for. So that was a big start. That was the first one, and then we lost Zach Tom,
Yeah.
and then now you have no one that could open the field, and you have no
I
one
think
to
he was
protect.
the first one to go out, right?
I think it were within the same few
Oh,
plays,
yeah.
one or the other, but they were
Mhm.
literally in the third quarter back to back. So you don't have any protection for Jordan Love. You have no one open the field, and then we lost Micah Parsons, and I think that just deflated the whole team.
Yeah. No, for sure, and, I mean, yeah, yeah.
And
It's
here's the thing: I know a lot of Broncos fans have been talking. They're like, we have injuries too. And you know what? I agree. That's a great team, but we didn't just lose those 3. We also lost Jaden Reed. We also lost Quay Walker. We also lost, like the list kept on going. Like our only 2 wide receivers were Matthew Golden and Dontavian Wicks. We had no
yeah.
one else. So got to a point where this game was costly.
Yeah, I mean, typically when you get to this, point in the season, most teams are banged up. Of course, there are more valuable players than others,
But we
right?
lost Evan Williams, who's been a Pro Bowler this year. With Zach Tom's he's our solidified left tackle. You
Yeah.
don't lose your left tackle and not you can't compensate it within the game losing your left tackle.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when we get to the Lions, Are you gonna make that same point?
Oh, I mean, we
'Cause
did
'cause
the
they have,
all last year.
like, 20 players on IR right now.
Yeah, but we did that whole excuse for them, and rightfully so last year. We even said
Yeah, and they made the playoffs, so that's the
no, no,
crazy
no,
thing about it.
that's not it. But I was saying that we gave them that benefit of the doubt, and we were so surprised that they were able to make it so far. But at some point, those injuries do catch up to you, and eventually caught up to them.
Yeah.
So this one caught up to us.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I think if we don't have those injuries, we beat the Broncos. I'm 100% confident on that. I think we were controlling the whole half, and then the right injuries for the Broncos happened for us. Like the right injuries to get their offense to start moving, their defense to be able to stop us. They all happen at the exact same time.
yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's tough because every team is dealing with a shit ton of injuries. I understand that there are more like, of course, when you lose a player like Micah Parsons, yes, you're gonna feel the effects of that.
I
But
mean, before he got injured, Bo Nix had one touchdown, and then he got 3 touchdowns after he got injured. That just tells you how important Micah Parsons is for
well,
us.
of course, yes, and when you have a player of that caliber, that is gonna be a big difference. I think for me more so that it does seem that with the Packers, if they don't have their deep shot, their offense really stalls. And
I agree. I definitely agree. I think that Christian Watson is that important
yeah,
factor in that. But I also think that we don't have anybody in the middle to catch the ball. So if you
Musgrave's not good enough.
fuck, no, you don't replace the Tucker Craft caliber type player. So
Yeah.
but like I was saying, the game for the first half, again, very hungover, hard to be a reliable narrator for that, but I was proud of the Packers for that first half. I thought that they looked like the Super Bowl caliber team. Like the momentum was shifting towards. They were keeping up with the Broncos. It had mile high. That's a hard thing to do. We've won one game against them in the last 10 games or something, and then it happens. That's the reality. I'm sad. Packer fans are sad everywhere. But it happens.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, like, you're playing in another huge divisional matchup, and it's like one of those things where it's got to be next man up. You can't sit there and
Sure, but
and I mean that I'm just saying that if I'm like your head coach, we
going
can't.
to the future, right?
Yeah, like we can't.
Because I don't think we could have compensated mid game. Like we're not
No,
compensating for that
yeah.
for against the
No, no, no,
Broncos.
no, no. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying
Oh yeah, I agree,
like
100%.
wake up and it's got to be next man up, and we can't sit here and
Jeff Hafley has been talked about as a potential head coach. If he's going to be a head coach, which it'll be sad for us, but if he's going to, he needs to show that he could alter his defense in these huge type of injuries because they're going to happen, like you said. And if Matt LaFleur is going to get an extension, he needs to show that he could adapt to all these injuries.
yeah, no, for sure. And again, like it's tough. That's definitely not something that you want to see happen to any players. And it just feels like every year there's a good hand. This year feels like more, but we've
Oh
had a
yeah,
lot of torn ACLs and
Patrick
now
Mahomes
now
and
Achilles tears, and
yeah.
it's
Well,
just
I wanted to blame the turf, but I think they play in grass at Mile High.
I have no idea.
I think they do. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's like it's too many players,
Yeah.
and I don't think you can really necessarily pinpoint it on one reason. It's just an unfortunate part of the game.
I will say that Micah Parsons looked really fatigued, and it wasn't trying to chase anyone. It might have been the elevation, but there were like angles of him getting oxygen. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, or he was
Maybe he was
overcompensating.
hungover too.
Well,
Did he go out for my birthday? He was like,
I needed some of that oxygen.
yeah, for real. I could have used some of that too. But yeah, I mean, it definitely was a tale of two halves. Regardless of who went out, you could definitely see that, the Broncos did get more comfortable on offense, and we probably know why. But I also think it was a combination of Denver's good defense and you know losing two important players for the Packers, because I think the Broncos defense like held them to like 100 yards or something
Under
second
100
half.
yards in the
Yeah.
second.
And that's hard to do
Well,
against any NFL team, especially the Packers, who have always seemed to be able to come up with big plays. Like one Jordan Love throw can be 40 yards
yeah.
right off the bat. So
And in the first half, it looked like that. He
yeah,
had, 17 out of 22 or something like that for 250 yards and a touchdown,
wow.
right? And then in the second half, I think he had 7 completions out of like 20 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have 24, 40.
Yeah, so he didn't have that many completions.
Yeah.
He had 6 or 7 completions in the second half. And I think I'm gonna go back to it, not trying to make any excuses. I think when you lose Jaden Reed, you lose Christian Watson, took out Dobbs for some time. When you lose all of the pieces that you could trust.
And when you're playing against a good defense,
Oh
right? Like
yeah.
if you were playing against like the Dallas Cowboys defense, that'd probably be a different story. Their defense is probably not that good. But when you're
Matthew
playing,
Golden would have had like 400 yards.
yeah. So when you're playing, against a premier defense in the league, that just makes it all harder. So, but I mean, here's the biggest storyline, right? Is the Packers are still very much in it. You go into Chicago and we could be right back in the same situation as next week of, the Packers are right back on top. So this is not and again, this is something that if I'm Matt LaFleur, that's the storyline
Yeah.
that's coming out of this week, right? It's not the loss of Micah Parsons, it's not the loss. And I mean, it sounds like there's very positive news for Christian Watson. It
Yeah.
sounded like it was going to be very bad at first, but
He went to the hospital.
yeah, but it sounds like there's a lot of optimism that he could be back as soon as Saturday.
Yeah.
So
And then the same thing with Zach Tom and Evan Williams. They
yeah,
both had knee injuries, and it looks like they both avoided severe damage. So
Yeah.
they might be back within a week or two.
yeah, and I mean we're opening up the 21-day practice window for Tremaine Edmonds. So if Tremaine can get back, that's a huge boost for our defense as well.
Speaking of 21-day window, Marshawn Lloyd might not come back.
Oh.
He looked like he was gonna start coming back. He was practicing, and he went to a specialist because he kept on getting soft tissue injuries. And in the tail end, because he's on his 21-day window, we need to figure that out now. He got another hamstring injury, so it looks like we're gonna be shutting him down for the rest of the year.
Dang, rough.
Poor kid, man.
Yeah, for sure. But again, that's the storyline really and I think that it's going to be another great game on Saturday, and that's
We're still rivals. I want that. I still
Yeah.
want, regardless of what happens, I still want the chippiness. I want the fighting.
Yeah.
I want all of that.
yeah, for sure.
Bring it. I want. If Matt LaFleur wins, I want him to go back and do that little soft handshake again. That like I don't want to touch your hand, or
Yeah.
vice versa. If Ben Johnson wins, do the same.
Yep, for sure.
The energy's great.
Alrighty, let's talk about our last two teams, and then we'll really get into the nitty-gritty, looking down at the final couple weeks here of the season. But this was another interesting showdown, right? So you have the whole Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff storyline. Detroit coming to our neck of the woods, playing the Los Angeles Rams in LA, and unfortunately losing. Rams on top, 41, Lions 34.
Matthew Stafford. Love you. I knew I always loved the man.
Man, he's been playing wildly good this year.
We don't have to talk about your fantasy team right now, okay? We're going against each other. You know that?
Yeah, I know. My dad's like, aren't we going against each other? And I go, there's this weird thing in our league that it doesn't reseed. But I was doing some research yesterday, and I learned that I could manually reseed. So we'll implement that next year.
Okay, next year.
Yeah.
Because this way we go, the Bears and Packers go against each other.
I can't. That doesn't make sense to like do something that we've never done before during playoffs.
I mean,
so it'll be something that will happen next year. But
that'd be great because I'm a higher seed than your dad, and I'm going against the number 1 seed, so that's great.
Alrighty. So here we go. Lions, Rams, right? I mean, we were talking about injuries. The Lions basically have like 14 or 15 players on IR, which, I mean, that's
It's the
rough.
Spider-Man meme. The Packers and the Lions are just pointing at each other at this point.
Yeah. So, I mean, this game was all offense, really.
Yeah.
519 total yards for the Rams and then 396 total yards for the Lions. So, talk about a shootout. And I think really the biggest storyline for me after, watching again the highlights and the key plays is the Lions just really couldn't get anything going on the run game. And I think that was a big difference maker in this game because we've been saying it all season. If the run game is going, if Jahmyr Gibbs is going,
they're going to win.
It's like the Lions are basically on fire at that point.
And
so
the teams that they've lost against, they were able to stop the run.
Yep. So, I mean, 70 rushing yards for the Lions, 159 rushing yards for the Rams. So, kind of tells you the difference in the game there.
Oh, yeah.
I think Hutch had a better game from what I could see, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough.
Close.
Yeah, because they, I mean, the Lions defense basically couldn't stop them.
It looked like in this situation, because you know how we always say that the Lions always have an answer for another team, especially with their offense. It was the other way around. It seemed like the Rams were able to answer everything that the Lions had.
Yep. Yeah, so the Lions are now in a very, again, we could keep going back and forth and do all the breakdowns, but really I think that it's about getting the playoff picture, right? Because now we're getting to the nitty-gritty. So I'm going to move on to the Sunday night game for the Vikings and the Cowboys. So Sunday Night Football, Minnesota going into Dallas, and the Vikings coming out on top, beating the Cowboys 34-26. But with this game and with both the Packers and, I guess mainly the Bears, but the Vikings were officially eliminated from postseason contention. But the good news is they also basically eliminated the Cowboys from postseason contention. So, there's a win there.
It's their Super Bowl. It's their Super Bowl. JJ looked good.
JJ had a better game. Yep, 15 and 24.
For his coloring book, playbook.
250 yards, 2 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown. So 3 total touchdowns in this game for JJ, 1 interception, but the interception was a tip pass. So really for me is, and this is going to be something that I'm sure will be really emphasized in the offseason, but the JJ to JJ connection needs to get going. Justin Jefferson having 2 receptions for 22 yards is honestly, if you're moving the ball and you're making plays, I get it. He probably gets a lot of attention. He gets double covered, but he's been getting double covered his entire career, and he's still able to put up big games. So I don't think that it's a coverage thing. I just think that the chemistry and the connection is not there.
And the coloring book isn't affording him that ability because he's not throwing deep.
Yeah.
And that's where Justin... Well, actually, no. Let me take that back. Justin Jefferson makes his career in every single position. Doesn't matter where. Slot. Go deep.
Yep.
Go routes. It doesn't matter. The guy's talented. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. So that's something that I think will be addressed. And, if the Vikings can get that connection going, I think they're right back in a good spot next year.
Kind of like the Bears last year.
Yeah.
Kind of get into a higher momentum, win out, or start winning some games and start building for that future, right?
Yeah. And here's the reality is, even though the Vikings are officially eliminated from the postseason, they can play spoiler.
Can we not put that in? Can we just not?
It's true though. So looking ahead here, we have the Vikings. They play the Giants, this week, but their last 2 games are against the Lions and the Packers.
Great. I'm okay if they want to beat the Lions. That's fine.
So that the Vikings are still prepping. Like, this is their playoffs. This is their playoff run right now. All right, and so interesting to see how it folds out because, I mean, you know, I know how I felt about the last game of the season last year. The Bears were not making the playoffs, but we still wanted to play spoilers to the Packers. So I can understand that from the fan perspective. So I know Vikings fans, even though, unfortunately not as a successful season as last year, but there's still some things to play for at the end of this year. So
I
there's that.
I don't want that into the universe.
I like it. It's makes a good storyline.
No, it doesn't. I don't want to see the Vikings at 100% at the end of the year.
Yeah.
We're not doing this again. If we lose to the Vikings, if we lose to a Vikings in a game that means a lot for us to get in the playoffs, fire Matt LaFleur. I'm cool. We'll bring the shirts, Matt LaFleur.
All right. Well, obviously we already talked about it, but the biggest divisional matchup will be this Saturday night. We are I like this. I like the primetime flex. So very exciting for the NFL.
Yeah.
Don't get to play a lot of, Saturday games unless it's playoff time or seasonal.
Fair.
So that's really exciting. And again, deja vu. We're right back where we were a week and a half ago, and
it should be
battle for the top of the spot in the NFC North.
So
if you're the Lions fan, who do you want to win this game?
The Bears. You want the Bears to win
because you have a higher chance for the seeding, right?
Well,
I was wondering.
Regardless of the tie, of the us having the tie, if we get the same record or anything near like that, we beat the Lions twice. Yeah. So we automatically get in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But at the same time, so they already have a win over the Bears, and then they play the Bears, week 18. So
I think you want,
but then you're also like kind of putting your faith in like other people's hands, and you want to control your fate. So I can see that.
If you win, then there's a world, because their thinking is probably that you could lose to the Niners, right? It's possible.
Oh yeah, the Niners are not a bad team.
They're not. They're injured, but not a bad team.
It doesn't matter.
No, I know.
That Niners team is like,
their
they probably have like 27 people on IR.
No, I think that
find ways to win.
The only reason I bring up the injury for the Niners is that I think that they would probably be in first place if they didn't have all those injuries.
Yeah, the Rams-Niners matchup would be very interesting, to be honest.
So, but the point I'm trying to get is, if the Lions have you guys win, and then let's say you lose to the Niners, then them beating you would make them win the division. So that's probably their thinking, because we would lose this game and now we're underneath the Lions.
Yeah.
So it's risky, but yeah.
Yeah. Well,
that's why I want Aaron Rodgers to beat the Lions.
And that was where I was going to go. And, so we already talked about it this week. Vikings at Giants, last two games, Lions, Packers. The Bears, this week, Packers playing in Chicago. Then the Bears have the Niners, Lions.
Yeah.
Ugh. And then Steelers. Who do the Packers have next week?
We have you guys coming up.
Oh, sorry, after Saturday.
Oh,
so obviously we know Vikings.
Oh, we have the Ravens.
Oh, Ravens. Ooh, okay, interesting. Oh my God, this is. You know what? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a very interesting close to the season for sure. Last one though, just to say it.
Ayahuasca over here.
Steelers. Yep. At Detroit playing the Lions, and both of them are 8-6, so both of them are going to be also. This is a playoff game for them.
Yeah.
So I mean, every game at this point to us is a playoff game for the rest of the season, and the Vikings are playing spoilers. So everybody's got something to play for. Everybody has to bring their A game, because in reality, the playoffs start now, and of course, every team wants to win out and control their destiny, but these are some tough games coming up. There's a lot of divisional games coming up, and it's.
Someone said that there's going to be a team that's 11-6 going against the Carolina Panthers at their home. Holy.
Oh boy.
And then the Seahawks are probably at 12 or something, are gonna have to travel to another garbage team as well.
Yeah, this is oh man. You know what though? This has been one of my not just and I know you're going to think this is a lie, but not just cuz the Bears are doing well this season, but this has been one of my favorite seasons to be a part of because the storyline has constantly I mean,
Oh yeah.
we go back 6 weeks and we were probably like the Tampa Bay Bucks are going
Yeah.
to win the NFC.
Well, yeah,
And
Baker
then
was an MVP candidate.
and then it's like here we are we're like okay, Matthew Stafford's now gonna win the MVP. Oh wait, maybe Bo next. I mean, it's literally
If Bo Nix wins,
so.
no.
I
It needs to
mean,
be Drake. It's only
no,
Matthew
Drake,
Stafford
yeah,
or Drake.
Drake, yeah, Drake May. There you go. So
Those
I
are
mean,
the only
it's-
two that I'm like, we're cool.
And to be honest, I don't know who was favored in the Patriots Bills game, but I feel like a lot of people felt really good about the Patriots because the Bills have kind of been up and
Yeah.
down in recent weeks, and then the Bills go in there and handle business.
Yeah.
So again, this has been one. And I mean, sorry, Chiefs fans, but you guys were also eliminated from postseason. I feel very bad about Patrick Mahomes.
I just need to state this because this better not be the excuse. You got to eliminate it before he got injured.
Yeah, that's true. 100%.
Losing that game was it. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's also just nice to,
before we knew he was injured, better way.
Yeah, it's just nice to know that that spot that has basically been guaranteed by the Chiefs for the past 10 years is now open
I
in
love
the
it.
AFC. So a lot of exciting stuff, for NFL fans in general, of course. I know if you're a Chiefs fan, you're pissed off. I get it. Okay. But you've enjoyed success for the past 10 years, so.
And the Bengals aren't there either, which I'm sad for
The
Joe
thing-
Burrow, but
Yeah, exactly. But there's plenty of other organizations and their fans have suffered for far too long.
Yeah.
Not just, I mean, I think about Bills fans. This is one of the most loyal fan base in the nation, and now you're thinking like your arch nemesis, Patrick Mahomes, who's basically taking you out of the playoffs every single year. You're thinking like this is our year, but again, the Bills have been so it's crazy. And they're gonna have to most likely go through the Patriots.
Here's the thing:
which
these next 2 years are probably the easiest any of those teams are gonna have it in the East or in the AFC. Sorry, better way to put it, because Patrick Mahomes is probably out this year and the majority of next year. So it's one of those teams have to do something. But I think this is Josh Allen's best year to have a chance at a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree. But yes, I mean, again, we say it every week, but now it's really the drama is at its highest, and every NFC North team, regardless of their position in the NFC North right now, they all want to win out. And of course, most teams do at this point, but this particular division is
not the Browns.
And this like.
And more like Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, well, I was going to say the AFC North is a little interesting too, but yeah, I'm wondering about that. Because the Ravens have a lot to play for too. So, I mean, it's.
Well, that's why we're trying to create an alliance one more time. If he beats the Lions and we beat the Ravens, it's a good partnership.
There you go. All right. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much. A lot of turning events this week, particularly for, Packers, because a lot of detrimental losses and, and I may hate the Packers, but I don't ever wish that upon anybody, and I told Dylan that text was oof in bad taste.
Yeah, I wasn't even mad. I was like, oh, wow. Like,
yeah, so Dill.
And I still think it was worth it.
That was rough.
We don't know that these things are gonna happen. Like, what if a team picks up a quarterback and that quarterback gets injured? You still paid him a lot of money. You still gave a lot of capital, but you never know that these are gonna happen. They just happen sometimes.
Yep, for sure. Alrighty, well, next week, again, one of us at this podcast is going to be very happy. The other one will be pretty upset. Hopefully I get to be on the right side of it this week. I was on the wrong side of it last week.
There's a world where you win fantasy football and your Bears win.
Balance.
There's no balance there.
balance in the universe. We'll see, and that's what I'm nervous about. It's because if there's balance in the universe, probably I'm gonna win one, lose one, or I'll just lose both of them. Whatever.
Can we do that part? I'm cool with that.
No, I don't want to do that. All right,
Christian
guys.
McCaffrey, 5 points. Loading.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, follow us on our TikTok. I don't know the TikTok.
NFC North WCE.
Okay. Or on Instagram, NFC North.West Coast Edition. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I think that's it. Anything else on your side?
I'm still sad.
Yeah.
I'm still hungover, but I'm still...
Alrighty, everyone. Well, we will see you next Thursday. And, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
And Happy Hanukkah. And happy holidays for whatever you celebrate out there. So,
yeah. Say hi to your families.
Yeah. Spend time with loved ones.
Watch some good football.
Yeah. We will be, is Christmas on Thursday? We may be releasing just like a Thanksgiving episode. Maybe releasing a Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, guys. Well, there you go. We'll see you. Deuces. Peace out.